Hello there, YouTube. I am Wheelchair21, and as promised, we are going to be looking at another Dragon Ball Z film in the month of April for Doyle's DVDs, and that's none other than Dragon Ball Z: Resurrection of F, the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Edition, which we now know as Super Saiyan Blue for those of you who are already watching the Dragon Ball Super anime or reading the manga. Alright, so for the special edition, the case is pretty much mostly why it's called the special edition, as well as some of the little extras they sort of threw in the box. First off, we have, well, a clear protective case, which features Goku, a little stuck-on pad, which features the actual back to the regular retail edition, which features, the back giving a little synopsis of the movie, as well as telling you about our extras. The voice of Dragon Ball Z, they're back! The return of Dragon Ball Z, textless closing song, US trailer, and basic other trailers from Funimation. And on the back of this little sticky piece, it's just Vegeta. Our case is blue, as you can see, and it has like this nice laminated font on it, which features our freaking title, Dragon Ball Z, Resurrection of F, or just Resurrection F, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Edition. Alright, for our interior, Goku and Vegeta are on the actual discs themselves, as well as prominently featured in the back with basic art and detail, as well as spotting their new outfits featured in the film. Goku's on the DVD, which is kind of ironic that you'd put the main hero on the DVD, which a lot of people now are more into Blu-rays, because Blu-rays feature just now everything in the movie has, as well as the special features. So it's ironic Vegeta, who is technically the real saving grace of this film, gets the Blu-ray feature, as well as featuring them still in Super Saiyan Blue on the discs, is great nonetheless, and I feel kind of really ironic in general. Here is the special enlist cards that they gave people when you buy this version of the film. Honestly, I think these pieces are nothing more than crummy collector's pieces that can be made worth something. If you ever have Chris Ayres or Frieza's Japanese voice actor, Ryusei Nakao, to actually sign them. Out of them all, I think It's Good to Be Bad, decent catchphrase, just I don't like the fist, because my god, who really wants to be fisted by Frieza? No one? Not my thing, not my kink, not my fetish, nope. Make new friends, see the new worlds, destroy those worlds. Honestly, like like this whole freaking tagline. Don't like the presentation, even though it's cool to see like the Saiyan pods and this weird planet thing. Frieza wants you, basic kind of Uncle Sam thing, so, it's great. I think this, though, was like just an easy animated thing of Frieza. Looks like they just edited original Frieza artwork. And here it is with the, I almost said Super Saiyan, but Golden Frieza photo, doing more of his iconic pose when he wants to kill and blow stuff up, ending the world for good, join or die now. I think this is my favorite one. This is probably the one I would get autograph signed out the wazoo, and then put in a nice, probably frame, and that's all I can say. Alright, our movie. Frieza's forces, after several years of trying, finally bring back Frieza due to the fact they have Emperor Pilaf at hostage and use him to get Shenron to make their wish to restore him. Doesn't really work out. They have to use their healing stuff, the healing chambers, to really revive him and bring him back. Frieza then decides to train when he finds out Goku's actually fought Majin Buu, beat him, as well as fought Beerus. In doing so, while he's been training, you find out that since the last movie, Goku and Vegeta have also been training with Whis. Whis has been training them, also explaining to them that they either need to work together as a team, or they need to change how they fight as a whole. Whether it be Vegeta stop being too serious, getting the stick out of his ass, or Goku to stop being overconfident or over-relaxed, and kind of, Goku does stupid stuff, and that can be the downfall to both of them. As well as you find out that because of Beerus' temper, Whis has, always had the ability to manipulate time and uses it to fix Beerus' mistakes, such as when Beerus gets angry and destroys planets for no effing reason. And that's a huge foreshadowing for something that happens later in the film if you haven't already seen it. With Frieza coming back to, take over planet Earth, kill Goku and Vegeta and the rest of the Saiyans, the Space Police send Jaco because, Space Patrolman Jaco is canon, due to the fact that anything Toriyama writes has to be canon to anything else Toriyama writes. It's just natural law of Toriyama. And Jaco tells Bulma this. Bulma then forces Jaco to help her fight off Frieza, as well as get all the other Z fighters together to save the world. In this case, we don't get the full team, we don't get the full cast, we don't get the band back together. We just naturally get Gohan, Piccolo, Tien, Krillin, usual suspects, and Master Roshi. Yeah! Master Roshi this time realizes, you know what, maybe it's a good time to come out of retirement and become the Earth's hero once again. A little weird, a little crazy. Honestly, you don't see Trunks, Goten, or Majin Buu show up, which is like the weirdest part, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. They fight, they hold off Frieza, Gohan takes an L, and then Goku and Vegeta show up. Goku and Frieza fight. It starts off Frieza in his final form, Goku in his base state, very Namek-like, throwback. Then they go to their new form, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, and Frieza goes gold. Frieza actually is getting his ass beat due to the fact, just like Super Saiyan levels, you eat through a lot of ki. It just runs right through you. And Goku goes, you can either leave, or you can take a chance to master the form and come back and try again. In that case, Frieza gets pissed, and his right-hand man, Sorbet, uses this thing while Goku is left open to shoot and try to kill him. Goku's tags out, Vegeta tags in, and Vegeta beats the crap out of Frieza, and straight up, while he's getting ready to kill him, does his usual Principal Saiyans thing, and you're just sitting there like, no, 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 and Vegeta screws up, and Frieza blows up the Earth. Just wrecks it. Whis and Beerus save the Z-Fighters and Goku says, hey, turn back time, Whis. I'm gonna fix everything I screwed up. And he steals Frieza from Vegeta, and the movie ends on a high note with, the fact that maybe they have to listen to Whis more often, maybe they have to change who they are, maybe they need to evolve as characters again. Whether it be not just form, but actual mentality and who they are on the battlefield. My thoughts on this are, easily, the story is actually well written for a Toriyama product. I mean, Toriyama didn't really write anything good after the Cell Saga. I mean, Majin Buu is a pretty good arc, but everything up from the Cell Saga, or I should say, after the Cell Saga, wasn't that great. Battle of the Gods wasn't that good either. It was him trying to get more back in touch with the Dragon Ball aspect, rather than Dragon Ball Z, which is the real international success to the entire whole. And like the dub cast said, that for most North American fans, for most casual Dragon Ball Z fans, Dragon Ball Z is what really takes priority to most of the world. And the fact that this movie captivated a lot of it through the action, through the characters, how they were featured and used, really brought back what the franchise was. Also helped to reinvent it. Honestly, I try to compare this movie to Toei's original produced Tree of Might, and as well as Cooler's Revenge, due to the fact that one is Cooler's Revenge is like a copy and paste of like his story with Frieza, even though it's Frieza's brother. Tree of Might using the fact that every character was prevalently used throughout the film and had a role to play in it. And the fact that when you watch the American dub of, not Tree of Might, but Cooler's Revenge, they insisted on using like real rock bands like Finger 11 and Disturbed, whereas with this case, Toriyama actually made Maximum the Hormone F's tribute song to Frieza, F, canon. He made it like one of the official themes to the movie, whether it be used in trailers and all that stuff. It was used in the actual film twice. I loved that aspect, and it brought back what I loved about when Funimation dubbed it, when Funimation rewrote the score to the franchise. I feel that with Dragon Ball Z, rock and roll truly fits with the fights. It just felt great, and it brought back what I loved about Dragon Ball Z, as well as the fact that the characters were used, which were something I loved. I do feel like, though, Yamcha being the joke of the franchise is great. I love jokes about Yamcha and Krillin, but I do feel like sometimes that even though we joke about it, it does hurt the detriment to the characters when they actually were something, at least in the franchise. So I feel like he should have fought, I feel like Majin Buu should have fought, I feel like Goten and Trunks should have fought, but luckily Dragon Ball Super tries to fix those things, because it has the original uncut script, supposedly, that Toriyama envisioned for both Battle of Gods and this film. As for the special features, the first one that I watched was the actual one where it shows the voice actors in the ADR room in the picture-in-picture overlapping with the scene and the dialogue and how they act and respond. Found it very interesting. Found it very cool seeing how they respond and do their lines when they're doing it. Like, they look like straight on, they're actually trying to act and do characterization for themselves, especially Chris Ayres. Chris Ayres, who's been the voice of Frieza since like the last couple of games, Dragon Ball Z Kai, and so on and so forth. So, like, he's been Frieza for like the last 6 years, probably 6 or 7 years, and he's just killed it as Frieza. He literally is Frieza to me. Even though I grew up with Ocean Groups, even though I grew up with Funimation's Frieza, and I loved them, Chris Ayres is now the true embodiment of Frieza. He can never be replaced as Frieza. He is like #1 Frieza voice next to Ryusei Nakao. They are the only two people that I can see as being Frieza for the rest of time. They are the best of the best. That was a great special feature of them just doing the lines over the fights and that and seeing it picture-in-picture. The next one is a very great one. It's the screening for when the film first came out in April, when they did the special red carpet event. It was all subtitled. The entire group of Funimation, the cast was there to watch it, as well as Nozawa and the director. And then they did the other part of the special feature was them doing the dub premiere. And throughout the film, it was kind of a more down-to-earth when you had Shummel and Nozawa talking about the evolution of Dragon Ball and the evolution of Goku, and them talking about how that, you know, they have this mutual respect for each other and mutual understanding of how they both perceive their character. And then when you went to talking to, like, them looking at the way that this movie reinvented Dragon Ball Z and how Toriyama was able to revitalize the franchise, was very down-to-earth. Then, when I would say Ayres, Hebert, and Sabat did their talk for the movie, they acted like a fan. They were like, this is what we started with, kind of, when it came to dubbing. This was our, like, first series, and we were in there during the heyday, and this is literally everything that we remember when we first got in. It feels just like it's brand new to us all over again, even though it also feels very similar to day one. And I liked it. I liked that they felt the nostalgia like I did. I could relate to the cast when they were talking about the show. And I think that just by seeing those special features, it made this movie 10 times more enjoyable. I say this now, that Dragon Ball Z Resurrection of F is the true embodiment of nostalgia for Dragon Ball Z. It is the pinnacle point that helped to reinvigorate the franchise, reinvent the franchise, and bring back everything we loved about Dragon Ball Z for North American fans. I would also say other international fans too, because they got Z first before Dragon Ball, like us. This film is like practically a 10 out of 10. For this release, I'm going to say it's an 8 out of 10. This special edition release, 8 out of 10. Film, 10 out of 10. And honestly, if you haven't seen this film yet, I insist you check it out. I also insist you start picking up Dragon Ball Super, even though it's just being subbed, fan-subbed. I do believe that eventually Funimation is going to grab this show up after all the good Blu-rays and re-edits happen, because the animation is a little wonky. But it's a good series. I enjoy it. I need to really start watching it and getting into the show more. I've only been reading, like, the manga. Nevertheless, I insist you should like, comment, favorite, share, and subscribe to my channel here and my content below or on my channel. You can also check it out at herotaku.com. You can follow me on Twitter, and you can check me out on Instagram. Nevertheless, I'm Wheelchair21, and I'll see you next time, which it may be a long while from now, because I honestly don't know what my next video will be.